Greetings, Starfighters. Episode 2 of Season 8. Christmas by the book. And, of course, because it's Hallmark Channel and they're not going to be that clever with the titles, of course, at least one of the characters in this thing is an author. Much like the previous movie, I have no idea who any of these actors are, or at least not by name. I might recognize some of them when I actually start watching the thing. But, yeah. Since I mentioned last time, I'm recording the video for the video portion for all the episodes of this season in advance. I actually have no opinion on Majestic Christmas yet because I haven't watched that. So, if you're hoping for any snarky comments about the previous one during this one, sorry, you're going to have to wait for the audio portion later in the episode. And sorry that I'm rambling, but like I said in the video portion for the previous episode, it is a little warm for an October. So I have now watched Christmas by the Book from 2018. There's a 2022 movie of the exact same name because, Zod forbid my efforts to find pictures off Google Images ever get easier. It also has an alternate title of A Christmas for the Books, which is what it's listed as on Letterboxd. Speaking of Letterboxd, our plot summary is coming from there again. Lifestyle guru and romance expert Joanna Murray has developed a foolproof strategy for ending holiday loneliness, and it's all detailed in her best-selling book, The Love Audit. After appearing on a morning show, she is offered the biggest opportunity of her career, to throw the McAllen Holiday Gala, and if all goes well, she'll get her own TV show. Little do her fans or the McAllens know, she is newly single and can't seem to apply her principles to her own love life. Joanna asks the morning show producer Ted to pretend they are a couple or risk being exposed as a fraud. I mean, all lifestyle gurus are frauds, but anyway. So we have a pretend dating becomes real dating plot. Not really a fan of those, to be honest, so before the movie even starts, we've got to strike against it. The movie opens with the morning show mentioned in the summary, so at least we're not waiting too long for the plot to start. Whether or not that's a good thing remains to be seen. If you've ever seen the Today Show or anything like that, you pretty much already know how this sequence goes. Of course, our main character has your bog standard self-help word salad that people blow hundreds of dollars on instead of actual therapy and then wonder why they never get better. Yeah, I have experience with the self-help grifter world, having watched relatives get roped into people like Marianne Williamson and Deepak Chopra. I am not a fan at all, and hearing this kind of talk coming from the lead of this movie before we are even out of the credits is just really putting me off. Shortly after the segment, which is far, far shorter than it would ever be on an actual morning show, because putting effort into making this segment believable would be too much effort, we meet our male lead for the movie, Ted, who Joanna has not officially met yet, but she definitely thinks he's cute even as he talks on the phone to his girlfriend. Oh boy, when we meet this character, assuming we do, the filmmakers are going to go out of their way to make her unlikable, aren't they? We aren't even 3 minutes in yet, and I already feel like maybe I was too hard on A Majestic Christmas. So the phone call ends with, Ted apparently being dumped. Wow, that was fast. We get another character here introduced via jump scare, so at least something interesting is happening, and she's an agent, manager. You're going to tell us at some point, right, movie? Can we get a name at least before she finishes her whole "you're a brand now" Joanna speech? No? She's been talking to Joanna for like 2 minutes, and the movie's main character certainly thinks she's important, but beyond that, I got nothing. Okay, after about 3 minutes, we finally get a name, or at least a nickname, when Joanna refers to this lady as Goldie. So anyway, the drama starts right off the bat with this opportunity for Joanna to grow her brand, involving having to organize the gala mentioned in the plot summary in less than a week. And then Goldie informs Joanna that the entertainment group behind the gala wants Joanna to attend with her boyfriend. And there we are, all in line with the plot summary now. That didn't take long. So this should all be over pretty quickly. Let's just have a look over at the time remaining section of the video player and... about an hour and 14 minutes.
Fuck my life.
Why did I do this to myself? I could have just not done Hallmark Channel Christmas movies. Well, nothing to do but soldier on. So everything goes pretty much as you'd expect from this point, unless you haven't watched very many rom-coms, in which case I envy you. Joanna and Ted meet, and it's a little awkward, yada yada. They talk about Joanna's book, who Ted's ex was a big fan of, and we learn that Joanna's guide to love thing involves a point system. Yes, really, because what could be more conducive to romance than math? At least when I'm doing stuff like that to unlock romance options in BioWare games, sometimes by accident, looking at you, Ashley, I'm aware that I'm playing a video game, not trying to win someone over in real life. I'm not here to tell you how you should approach relationships, seeing as I've never been in one, and as of this writing have not been on a date since September of 2010, but I do feel pretty confident that treating dating like fucking Weight Watchers is not going to help you. The only comfort I am able to take from this sequence is that Joanna is going to learn that lesson herself. In about an hour. Oh, also, I just realized I forgot to put this in the script. We never see Goldie again after this. She's clearly important to the plot, but then just disappears once she sets events in motion. Okay. So Joanna makes the pitch to Ted to play her boyfriend in exchange for her helping him get back together with his ex, and she'll justify it by writing up a press release about the pressure of their careers, pulling them in different directions, but they'll remain friends. And I'll give her this much, it's less cringy than that whole conscious uncoupling thing Gwyneth Paltrow used when she split from Chris Martin. Anyway, Ted agrees, of course. Sorry, I don't know if you've been hearing that little thunk. There's something is loose inside my headphones and I can't fix it. Ted agrees, of course, because otherwise the movie would be over already. Oh, if only. And the con begins. There's a shopping sequence next that I think is supposed to be charming, at least in theory. A more charismatic actor might have been able to make Ted's jokes at least a little funny. Good delivery goes a long way. But this guy has all the charm of the vegetables he keeps using in his efforts to workshop a pet name for Joanna. The pet name thing is one of, the rules from her book, or whatever. I don't know, I was barely paying attention. Joanna gives a talk after this, and for fuck's sake, she actually refers to something from her philosophy as a love triangle. She doesn't mean it in the way most people mean it, which is wrong anyway. As one joke goes, a love triangle in fiction is actually a love corner, and a woman is usually the one backed into it. But it doesn't matter. I am not a fan of love triangles regardless, and Joanna's doesn't sound any better. This movie was actually giving me a headache at this point, I swear. Well, it could also have been caffeine withdrawal, but I'm just going to assume it was the movie. There's character backstory stuff, carolers, Ted is clearly already starting to develop feelings for Joanna, yada yada. If heaven is real, the creator of the 1.5 speed playback is sure to end up there. A new character is introduced a half hour in that has romantic rival written all over him, and Joanna is infatuated at first sight, which doesn't really fit with her established character at this point. But the movie doesn't care, so why should I? Yada yada, we actually do meet the ex, Valerie, and right off the bat she is entitled and mistreats people she views as her subordinates, even though Ted's assistant works for Ted, not her, and I totally called this. There's a decorating montage. Valerie complicates things as expected because, shock of shocks, when she told Ted it was over, he had the nerve to believe her, and this is just also cringe. I mean, we're talking watching a Caleb Maupin speech level of cringe. If you don't know who that is, don't look him up. Anyway, the situation gets explained to Valerie, who takes it surprisingly well, actually. I didn't expect that. Not really worth the shenanigans that led to it, but I'll take it. With a movie this bad, you take your wins where you can get them. So more stuff happens that I don't really care about, but hey, we're past the halfway mark now at this point. Valerie is getting a bit less one-dimensional, and in a better movie, she and Ted would get back together with both of them having learned to listen to each other better, and Joanna could hook up with this other guy, Del, who seems to be as into lists and order as she is, but this is a Hallmark Channel movie. Does anybody think it'll end like that? Honestly, I'm not sure even the people making this movie knew if it was going to end like that or not, because from scene to scene, Valerie's likability just keeps going up and down. I did a thing with my hand there. I don't know why. I'm not on camera. I feel like elements of an alternate reality version of this movie that was, if not good, then at least tolerable, has seeped into the version on my DVD somehow. Anyway, Joanna's starting to like Ted now, too. Pretty sure you all saw that coming. So yeah, the ending that could have saved this movie from the trash heap is not coming. I'm pretty confident in that. We get your requisite third act breakup that only technically counts because of the whole lie at the core of this relationship. Yada yada. Del hints he likes Valerie, so the predictable ending just got even more predictable somehow, and we have a scene where someone overhears part of a conversation and assumes the worst. Ugh. It's not that no movie ever manages to pull that cliche off, but it's rare, and this movie is not equipped to do that. Joanna and Valerie have, I want to call it a nice moment, where they, without outright saying it, give each other permission to pursue Ted and Del, respectively, with no animosity for each other, but this scene deserves a much better movie to be in. It's genuinely sweet in the execution, but a movie this dumb does not deserve sweet. To be fair...
To be fair.
I'm glad it didn't go the other way with a loud shouting argument, or worse, a catfight sequence. There's that at least. So yeah, the rest of the movie goes exactly as you probably think it does, so let's just get out of here. Random thoughts I had while watching the movie. The music in this movie is so generic it feels less like a film score and more like the editor just had a CD of public domain holiday instrumentals with them during post. Something about Joanna's smile in this movie is off-putting, but I cannot explain why. And it doesn't really seem to matter how sincere she is being in that particular scene. You know, it varies. It feels off regardless, somehow. I don't know what it is. About 21 minutes in, my copy of the movie kinda stopped working. I ended up having to just skip about a minute of it to get it to play normally again. But I don't think I missed much beyond Joanna meeting the guy who owns the entertainment group that's going to give Joanna her show if the gala succeeds. Which we all know she did. This is that kind of movie. Ted is hardly in the last third of the movie. What the hell is that about? He's literally the second lead. Though the movie in general is slightly better when he's not in it, so maybe I shouldn't complain. This movie had the shortest ending credits of any post-1970s movie I have ever seen. I've seen short films with longer credits. Final verdict. Most of the time on this show, when I do the whole "this movie is so bad it makes me think I was being too hard on a previous movie in the season," I'm joking. This is not one of those times. A Majestic Christmas is way better than this shit. And literally the nicest thing I had to say about that movie was its diverse casting. This one, it does have these little moments that I actually like, often just seconds long. But far from saving the movie, they really only serve to make how terrible the rest of it is stand out more. Ironically, Christmas by the Book would have been better if it had been worse. Which is also how I feel about Star Trek Into Darkness, oddly enough. Anyway, tune in next time when we will be watching former pop star Christina Milian pay off a mortgage with Memories of Christmas. Have fun. Stay safe.